What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Flying with Garrett. Today we're going to talk about the challenge of being a pilot. Now, I know I've made a video before about the good and the bad of being an airline pilot, but today I'm going to kind of dive in a little deeper into the more challenges, not necessarily the negative, but more challenges of the lifestyle of being an airline pilot. So I made a list of about 5 things here. And I hope this doesn't deter people from being an airline pilot, but it just gives you more insight of what it's actually like. So the first thing is jet lag. Now for me, I don't personally kind of have experience with jet lag when I'm working. Traveling is a whole different story, but working, I only change one time zone. So I change about an hour because I fly a smaller jet. Now people like my father who fly an Airbus 330 across the Atlantic Ocean, they deal with jet lag definitely. You know, they land in Madrid and it's, I don't know, 7 hour, maybe 6-7 hour time difference. And they have around 28 hours of layover in Madrid. Well, you kind of get in the morning / mid-afternoon, and then you want to nap because you've been up for a long time because you left in the evening at they normally leave around 6 or 7 o'clock in Charlotte, land in Madrid late morning, afternoon, and then they need to take a nap because it's past their bedtime back in the United States. So jet lag can definitely kind of play a role into also health, but it just kind of takes away from if you're changing time zones drastically. Whenever you come back home, you know, maybe you're all thrown off and your days off are just kind of thrown off as well. You're sleeping throughout the day. But jet lag can definitely play a role of challenges of being an airline pilot. Now the next thing is away from family. This is a big thing, and a lot of people that ask me questions, you know, like how do you withstand a relationship and blah blah blah, or how's your relationship with your family? And it's pretty easy. Thankfully, airline pilots most of the time have a lot of time off, around half the month off. So you just got to find someone, you know, your partner that is on the same page with you, and that's okay with that. And thankfully now these days you have FaceTime, so whenever you are away you can still talk to your loved ones, and it normally ends up being just fine. Most of my relationships have been long distance, and that adds on top of also being an airline pilot and being away. So obviously those are previous relationships, but distance really never played a role in being away. It just depends on your partner. Standby days. This can be a tough thing, especially if you don't live in base. And I've talked about this in a previous video. I believe it was like life on reserve as an airline pilot, something like that. But I talk about living in base versus commuting in. For me, I live in base. I'm 15 minutes away from the airport. Standby days / reserve days aren't bad for me, but definitely someone who isn't based, or they don't live where their domicile is, so they would have to fly in on their days off, or they might get done late and they might have to get another hotel room. So that can definitely take away, especially really bored. You know, if you fly in and have to get a hotel room on your standby days away from home, you could just be sitting in the hotel room all day doing nothing, just waiting for the phone to ring. And that's when people want to get called for work. Me, not necessarily, because I can do all my things at home. You know, I can do my laundry, I can go to the gym, I can see friends all while I'm on reserve because my bags are packed, my uniform is ready, and I'm 15 minutes away from the airport. So standby days definitely can be it can be a negative thing for a lot of pilots that don't live in base. Staying healthy. This is probably the biggest thing, the biggest struggle that I personally have found of being an airline pilot. And that has to do with primarily eating. It's really tough finding healthy food at airports. And a lot of times I eat out all the time. And when I'm having to eat at the airport, it's really hard to find something healthy. And then especially if you're busy all day and you don't have any breaks, and then you have breaks late at night. Maybe my last flight leaves at 10:30 at night and I've got a break before that. Most restaurants are closed in the airport. So it's really tough finding healthy food on the road, especially if you don't stay in big cities. There's not necessarily I like eating at Whole Foods. I can normally find good food at Whole Foods at their hot bar. That's my personal favorite. But in the airport, it's nearly impossible to try and stay healthy. So that, and then also just outside of eating healthy, is you're exposed to radiation. You're 30,000 feet in the air, so you're close to the sun all the time. So definitely skin protection is like a huge thing. A lot of pilots tend to get skin cancer, especially the older ones who never put sunscreen on when they weren't really aware of what kind of damages that the sun does to you when you're that close to it. And then also I would say working out. It's definitely tough if, as a pilot, you're on the road all the time, trying to stay in shape. Obviously, eating healthy is a huge role in that, but you have to get your physical exercise in. So let's say you worked all day and you get to the hotel room, trying to find motivation to get out and go to the gym or just get some sort of cardio in. It's tough. And you can't really drink caffeine if you got to get up early the next morning. So just finding that inner motivation can definitely be a tough thing sometimes. So cost of being a pilot, I've talked about this in numerous videos. It is a very expensive career to get into, but it more than pays for itself, and it's a huge investment in yourself and in your career, and especially if it's something that you love, which I don't recommend anyone getting into the airline industry unless you really do love it. So it can be a very expensive job to get into, but like I said, it definitely is worth it in the long run. And the last one is seniority. Staying with one company is the biggest thing. A lot of people in my situation, they get out of college and they want to fly the biggest, shiniest, newest jet, and that might not necessarily like be the best place to go, the best company to go, because you might get stuck there and that's not where you want to be long term. So seniority is everything. Once you get to an airline, you get a seniority number and you move up. Your pay is based on that, your days off, your schedules, the airplanes that you fly, the routes you fly, whether you work weekends and holidays. So everything is seniority based in this industry. So I would definitely say do your research and find a place that you want to work long term, forever, retire from, that has your favorite bases, places that you could live, the aircraft that you want to work with. And definitely just the culture at the company. Are you proud to wear that uniform? Are you proud to work there? So seniority is everything in this world. So those are just a few challenges that I've seen of being an airline pilot, and just some of my friends that are in the aviation industry as well. Hope this helps some of you. I hope this doesn't deter you away from being a pilot, but just give you more insight. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am off to Hawaii in exactly 12 hours, so I'll get this up on the internet. Smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed it, if you want to see more stuff like this. Throw some more episode ideas in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new here, and next up will be a Hawaiian vlog. I'll see you guys there.